Oh yeah, I got the High Priestess on the split. Oh, the High Priestess and the Magician right next to each other. That's 1 and 2 in the majors. And this just feels like a call to go visit your inner world and get in touch to it and realize that that's where your magic is, where your magic lies, you know. I'm also being called to tell you as far as just balance. Like, you see, like, there's the cosmic person over here that looks like, feels like spiritual, and this feels like the physical, like this is a physical person. And then there's also the as above, so below energy here as well. So it's a balance of this, it feels like the spiritual and the physical as well. And it's like, understand that that's you, you're in the center, and you're being called to be the middle path. It's like the middle path is the truth, you know. Don't lean too far into the physical, don't lean too far into the spiritual, but realize it's the balance of both that is your true authenticity, that truly is how you navigate this world in a way that leads to everything you want for yourself. It's like you get the spiritual and you ground it into the physical, you know. And I'm also being drawn to that divine masculine, that divine feminine balance as well. It's like you're receiving these hits, you're receiving this guidance, you're receiving that connection, and then you, through your actions, you ground it in. And if you're not grounding it in, you're just holding on to the spiritual energy, you're gonna feel out of alignment, you're gonna feel imbalanced. So it's like, as you get these things, you express them. And that doesn't necessarily mean you have to go talk and tell people, but maybe just create something with it, you know? Make these things physical. And I'm also being drawn to tell you to write down your dreams, you know? As you're having these experiences in your dreams and you wake up, hey, write it down, make it physical, ground it in. And you never know, it's all information, it's all insight, it's all, at the very least, it's your subconscious communicating to you, and it's showing you where your subconscious energy is going, you know, what you're worried about on a level beneath the surface, what energies are dominant in your field beneath the surface, you know, that you may not be seeing. So it's like, as you're getting these spiritual hits and information, ground them in somehow, through your creation, through expression, through talking, whatever feels right. And through that, you'll be able to recognize your inner world more. You'll be able to recognize that connection more. And through that is everything else, you know, pure abundance. I'm being drawn to the pomegranate. And the fact that the open side is facing us and she's holding it, and you see that her head is the tree and it's bearing all this fruit. And it's like the results that you're experiencing in your world is a result of your inner world, you know, it's you. And then you're bearing fruit that you get to hold. And that reminds me to us talking about, you know, like confirmation birth, through like trying to force things in the physical or looking to the physical to kind of gauge where you are. And it's like, yo, it's all born of you. It's like, if you're not hip to the fact that the fruit that you're seeing on the floor, like I'm beginning the image, like maybe that she picked this pomegranate, like it fell and then she picked it up, you know, but if she's not hip to the fact that they're falling literally from her head, from her, you know, like they're literally fruits of her, she's gonna be like, oh wow, fruit, like wow, oh my God, this is amazing. And when there's no fruit, she's gonna be like, oh my God, like where's the fruit? Like, is what's going on? Like, how come there's no fruit? But it's like, at the end of the day, it's all you. Like you're creating all this stuff. And it's just you, and it's being born into the physical, and then you get to experience it out here, but it's all born of you. And these fruit that you're experiencing are the fruit of your labor internally. So it just feels like, and this one feels like a really big one. And she's also, the fact that it's cut open and all the many seeds are visible to us feels like vulnerability as well. It's like not being afraid to share the fruit, you know, the fruit of you, and sharing it with those around you, the world, you know, especially if you're somebody who's a creative and artist. Like for me, I always consider the creation process, the last step of the creation process, to share. If you're just making a bunch of things and keeping it to yourself and hoarding it, especially if you make music, because I know that's a big thing. People have a bunch of unreleased music and they make all these things and they just hold it. And now they got songs that are years old that they still haven't released because, and I feel like that usually boils down to like perfectionism or not feeling like good enough, you know, so now you don't want to put it out, but it's like, yo, you made it. And it's valid in just the fact that you created it. And I feel like the creation process is not done until you share it, you know? Like even if you're someone who identifies as Christian, you know, if we're made in God's image, they say, and God is a creator. That's one of the first things he is, or they are, or she is, whatever you believe. And you know, they didn't create all these things and then keep them to themselves. They create all the things and then shared it with us, and we get to experience it all. We get to experience the grass, we get to experience the animals, we get to experience water and all that stuff. And it's like, you know, some things are not, you would feel like are not perfect, but you wouldn't say that, oh, God made a mistake, you know. There's animals that you might consider ugly or that are scary. You're like, oh, why does that look like that? But you wouldn't dare be like, you know, oh, they're wrong, or they should be this or they should be that, because you understand that it's all perfect in the fact that it's been created but from source, you know, that it's all God, and God made them all, and God doesn't make mistakes, you know. So it's like, why do you feel like you're any different? Why do you feel like the things you make are any different? And it's like, you're made in God's image. You are God embodied. So it's like the things you make are perfect in the fact that you just simply made them. So don't hesitate to share. And if you're creative, please try adopting that vision, or that idea and that philosophy that creation's not done until you share. That's the end of the creation process, sharing. Even if you're sharing with one person, two people, the more the better, of course, because you know you made these things and they're an embodiment of divine energy, and there's something that everyone can get from it. That song that you feel like isn't ready yet can save someone's life right now. That song that you feel like isn't that good, hey, it wasn't made for you, you know? You share it, you realize that it may have been made to save this one person's life, or it's gonna be someone's favorite song ever that gets them through times that were kind of hard or boring or whatever. And you know, like now it's become someone's wedding song, or becomes this song that they bond over with this person, you know, you never know. And it's like, just because you're not the be all end all of the world, and you're a vessel of divine energy and magic and all that. So allow yourself to be that. And just because it doesn't resonate with you, maybe, hey, you made it, share it. You never know who's gonna like it. Like I make music, and songs that are super old to this day are still some of the people's favorite songs. Like they'll be like, oh yeah, that song, that very first song I released is their favorite. I'm like, yo, I can't stand that song at this point, you know? Only because, you know, I feel like I've gotten so much better, and I'm hearing all the imperfections, especially because I engineer my own music too. So like technically I'm hearing all type of stuff, and there's stuff I would do differently and all that. So I always feel like, you know, my most recent stuff is the best because, you know, I know more and I'm more skilled and all that. But when I go talk to certain people who've been there from the beginning, they still like, oh yeah, my favorite song is still XYZ, and it's like, what? That's from my very first project. Like, ooh, I can't even stand that song. But it's like, it's bigger than me, and I couldn't control that if I wanted to. And it's like, I would never release that song today, but for it to still be someone's favorite song, it's like, all my songs are important. So I don't sit on them, and I try to release them as close to when I made them as possible, because I know the longer I hold them, the more I'm gonna feel the need to hold them, especially as I outgrow them and I change. Now it's not even who I am anymore. So it's gonna feel like, I shouldn't release that, I should release this new stuff. So yeah, I try to share things, like get them out of my hands as quick as possible. And that doesn't mean like, you know, not take the time and nurture them and do all that, but at the point where it feels good enough, I try to get it out. Because, you know, perfection is a moving target, you know, things can always be better. And if I waited for perfection to release everything, I'd have no music career. There'd be no music in my discography, because I don't feel like any of my music is perfect. Every song I've ever released, I sit there and I'm like, this could be different, this could be different. But I also notice as I get away from them and they're not as fresh, you know, a year later, months later, I listen to them and I'm not as tied to them, because now it's easy to be like, oh, it's just old, you know? And then it's like, they're so beautiful to me and they're so perfect, and I don't feel the need to do anything more to them. I don't feel the need to go back and any of that. So yeah, the best thing you can do, especially if you're someone who finds yourself struggling to put your stuff out, no matter what it is, put it out and let it go and detach from it and allow it to go where it may, and allow the pieces to fall where they may. And you never know, bro, that thing that you feel like is so imperfect is gonna be somebody's favorite thing ever. And look, yeah, I was thinking about it, feeling like it's time to start to close, and yeah, we're getting repeats. 8 of Pentacles, Strength as well, and then it's in reverse. Oh no, it's not in reverse. But yeah, we just saw those two. So I'm gonna start to wrap up. Pull maybe a couple more and then go to Oracle for closing messages and call it a day. Well, now today has been great. I feel like the energy has been different. but it's been very profound and all embodiments of us being in our highest timeline, honestly. And that's really dope. And yeah, oh, King of Wands. And then look, Strength on the bottom again. And it's funny because now it's in reverse. And just now I was saying it was in reverse, but it wasn't. Oh yeah, and then under that is the Three of, wait, is everything in it? No. It's the Three of Pentacles in reverse. And that was, I just saw them together too. Like when I looked under Strength, it was there. So for them to both be back at the bottom together, I'm gonna read this in a second, but I'm gonna start with the King of Wands. And yeah, this just feels like having confidence in yourself. Look how he's sitting. He's sitting in ultimate confidence. He's chilling. He's got he's barefooted. Like he's not worried about those bugs crawling up, anything. He understands that everything's okay and that the physical can look like however it wants to look like, as long as his internal world is at peace and feels aligned, that's the truth. And everything else will be a product of that. And I'm also being drawn to the eye, like under here. That's kind of hidden. And it's like, yeah, his face is covered. You can't see his physical eyes. You can't see his physical eyes, but he definitely has that third one right there on his chest. His heart. It feels like he's seeing through his heart. And that feels like exactly what I'm talking about as far as trusting your inner world, trusting how you feel, trusting the truth of you as the truth. And yeah, you just feel so powerful in that. And it's like, that's us right now. And that's what we're being called to do, is to just have faith in us and the reality of us and trust that that is the reality. And Strength in reverse. Strength in reverse in the subconscious feels like, I'm hearing like strength isn't always rough and hard and fighting, you know? Sometimes strength is gentle. Sometimes strength is resting when you feel called to rest, even though all the outside pressures are telling you to do more and to be more productive. Sometimes the strongest thing you can do in those situations is to be gentle with yourself, you know? Strength isn't always, you know? Sometimes having strength is really doing the most gentle thing, is being the most softest with yourself. Sometimes that's strength. And it feels like that's what you're being called to do right now, is to have more of a gentle strength and a firm strength in being gentle with yourself, you know? Like, I'm not gonna, you know, deciding that, you know what, I'm not gonna be moved by the outside. I'm not gonna be moved by the anxious thoughts. I'm not gonna be moved by my conditioning, by the programming and what everybody in the outer world says I should be moved by. It's like, yo, I feel called to rest. I feel called to play. I feel called to just relax and lay down and just go do something that just feels good to me for no other reason than the fact that it feels good to me. And it's like, that's strength. That's true strength. Especially when that's what you feel called to do, because you're never going to be validated in that, you know? You're always going to open Instagram and be called to do more stuff and have this production hack and, oh, you need to grind harder and, oh, you can sleep when you're dead. All that stuff, you'll have endless supply of that type of validation and those type of negative affirmations. But you'll be very hard pressed to come find things that just tell you to rest just because you feel like resting and to trust that and to not push ahead when you don't feel like pushing ahead. You'll be hard to find those messages. So having the strength to do that, wow, is very commendable. And whenever I see people able to be gentle with themselves like that, I always make it a point to, good job, to say I'm proud of you and to commend them on that, because I know that that's not easy. And I know that that's something that can only be born of the inside, because if you look outside for that, it won't be there. Not the way that the opposite is there, you know? There's people like me who will say that, and there's other channels and other, you know, people who are living in, grounding in these frequencies and this new earth frequency and all that, who will tell you to do that. But it's definitely not the masses and just everywhere, you know? Not the way that pushing harder and those more 3D ways of living are. So I'm always like, yeah, kudos to you for being gentle with yourself, because I know that's not easy. As someone who has to do it and all the time, I know it's not easy. And yeah, Three of Pentacles on the bottom in reverse as well. And this just feels like, I'm going to turn it over for the sake of you being able to see it, but this just feels like that lonely road of yourself, you know? Because typically the Three of Pentacles is a card of collaboration. Usually has the multiple people sitting there it usually has the one dude chiseling the wood, or at least in our other deck, our original Monday Magic deck. It has the person chiseling the marble, the statue out of the marble, and it has the two people that seem like advisors behind. The one's writing and the other one's looking, and it feels like a group effort. But this feels like, it's just him just sitting there by himself, and he has the teardrop. He has a tear coming out. That's a pinnacle. His mouth has a pinnacle, and then he has the one eye that's a pinnacle as well. And it just feels like, but he's by himself at the end of the day. Besides that, the head and the water behind him. But it just feels like trusting yourself. And you can also see the water through his neckline. So it just feels like trusting yourself. Also understanding that you're not separate from your inner world and your emotions, and that there are informations and notifications on how you're feeling within and your inner world, and that it's very valuable information, and that you're not separate from it, and that everything you experience on the outside is also tied to how you feel on the inside. But yeah, it just feels like your abundance and your blessings are born of the very things you speak, the things you express, and not even just speaking, expression, like the things you write, the things you create, the things you share, all that, the way you express your inner world. Expression for me is just your inner world being out, So like a conversation is expression because you're speaking how you feel on the inside to the outside. I feel this way, I think this, that's expression. Creating is expression because you're making things, you're making your inner experience outwards, the things you write. If you draw a pretty picture, you draw a sunset, that was how you were feeling inside. That's what you were feeling, you're making it visible. So that's expression. And just all that, all the things and way you make your inner world out is expression. So this just feels like your abundance is coming through expression. Your pinnacles are coming through expression. And the tear makes it feel like, okay, your abundance is also coming through the way you feel, the things you're feeling. And crying is also a form of expression, because it's that, if it's sad tears, and it's that sadness being released and coming through the outside and being seen on the outside. So that's expression as well. But it's expression, it feels like just through your emotions and through not being so hard and trying to feel like, crying and expressing your feelings makes you less than. Especially if you're a man, it feels like, oh, men don't cry and all that, but that's bullshit. And through that, operating like that, you're being disconnected from your inner world, which is how you create all this stuff from you on the outside. It's that balance between that feminine energy and that masculine energy that creates your life. So it's like, if you're never in tune with that, your internal world and any of that, and your darkness, then you're not going to be able to be that manly man you want to be. You're not going to be able to create your world and move in your masculine energy the way you want to without that other half of things. So it feels like allowing that to lead to your pinnacles as well, because it will. And then the last pinnacle being the eye feels like your visions, the things you see for yourself. And it's like, yeah, the things you see for yourself. And it's interesting that the tear is also coming from that eye. And it's like the things you see from yourself and allowing yourself to express it through your emotions as well as the way you express them, through speaking and creating. But just expressing like the reality of how you feel at any given point, whether it be sadness, happiness, betrayal, whatever, just expressing it. And understand that it leads to more of yourself, and it leads to physical abundance as well. And just this black side versus this like white side also brings me back to the High Priestess. And not necessarily this deck, but traditional tarot. There's the pillars on either side of her and the water in the middle. And that's exactly what we're seeing pictured here on this 3 card. This 3 of Pentacles. So it also feels like that call to trusting your inner world and connecting to it. And understanding that connecting to that inner world is how you get the secrets of life and everything else. Because it's all within you. And yeah, and I know we were talking about him being alone, but the head in the back makes it feel like you have support ready to be called on at any point. Like it seems kind of dormant, but I'm also, right now I'm getting the vision of like, if he turns and tries to communicate with it, like it'll opens its eyes and it'll, it'll help him with whatever he needs help with. And it's like, you're connected to it all. And turning within and getting in contact to source, because you are source and body. You are always connected to source, the universe, and God through yourself and through your inner world. Connecting to that, you'll get all the assistance you need, and at any given turn, everything is ready to help you, because you are a product of it all. And as long as the things you're going after is in accordance to free will and the good of all, and it's not, stepping on everybody's toes, or, you making everybody get less so you can get more, those type of greedy type of things, that, it's all ready to help you, and it's all waiting for you to call on its assistance. So trust that you don't have to do any of this alone, and that you're not doing it alone. And this will be the last one before I go close with Oracle, but justice on the split. And this just feels like more balanced energy, balancing your head and your heart. And it's like allowing your emotions and your mind to work together, because they're all are together. There is no separation. Don't lean too much into logic. Don't lean too much into your emotions, but allow them to operate together, and back again to that middle path, and you exist in between. And it's like, there's the ear. I'm being drawn to the ear right here in the middle. And it's like, allow yourself to be between those two things. Don't listen to one side more than the other. Allow them to both be the truth, and understand that the middle path is the ultimate truth. Like, yes, there's the duality of the two of them, but they're one thing, It's all one spectrum. And in the middle is the truest truth and the truest embodiment of these things. So don't lean into one or the other as if they're different, or as one is better than the other, because at the end of the day, they're the same. They all go back to source in the end. So falling into one side or the other, treating one as better, is an illusion. So allow yourself to be the middle path, not necessarily walk it, but be the middle path. You are the middle path. And I'm also being drawn to these little veins on her arm. I never even noticed them. I don't know if you can even see it, but on the arm that's holding the sword, there's like little veins, like right here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but and that just brought me back to the blood card earlier. And it's just all us, man. It's all a part of us. It's all flowing through our veins. It's flowing through our essence, through everything, our energy. And her head being a comet feels like an extension of that too. Like, there is no separation, bro. You're made of the very things. You're made of literal stardust. You're made of the universe. You're made of the galaxy. It's all within you. And the more you can embody that truth and understand that that is the truth, the better. Because that's the reality of you. And you're being called to just come into balance and allow yourself to be the middle path. Because it's all here for you. And if you don't experience that, if you don't feel like it is, it's because you're not attuned to it. You're attuned to a different frequency for some reason, even though it's there for you to attune to it now. And on the split, Ace of Pentacles. And this continues to come out at the end of readings, like right when I'm ready to be done and ready to move on. And it's like how I might feel called to just do one more split just to look, and then boom, it's the Ace of Pentacles. And it feels like that same flying fish energy at the very moment where you're detached and you're not looking for it or anything. It presents itself, because that's when you're ready. In the moment where you need for nothing is when, boom, you get the reality in which you need for nothing, because you're attuned to it, you're in resonance to it. But as long as you're continuing to look around and kind of search for it and try to force it, you're out of alignment and you're in lack vibration at that point. Because if you had it all, you wouldn't be looking for it. And at the very, very bare bones, that's the bare bones truth. If you really had everything you wanted and everything you needed, you would not be looking for it. You wouldn't be trying to make that happen. You wouldn't be trying to make that reality, because it's your reality. So the more you find yourself doing that, understand that you're choosing a timeline in which that's your reality, and that will not change. You will not get to everything you want by chasing it and forcing it and moving in a way that tells your universe that you don't have everything you want. So your detachment is the very key to it all. Is the key to experiencing everything you want for yourself. You need to just embody yourself and show up authentically, and realize that you're chasing your tail the more you're trying to chase these results, because it's all born of you. Remember the high priestess, the fruit falling from her head. It's like the more you treat that fruit like it's coming from somewhere outside of you, now you're worshiping the fruit or trying to figure out how to get more fruit to fall. And it's like, yo, if you really were able to look up and see, you'd see like, oh, wow, the fruit's just falling from me. Like as I walk this way, go this way, the fruit's just falling when it's time for the fruit to fall. Like it's not coming from anything outside of me. There's nothing I need to do for it to come. I just need to embody myself, continue to be me, continue to make sure I'm in good health, continue to pour into myself, so where these fruit can continue to be big and luscious and beautiful, because I'm giving myself what I need, which is growing these fruit. And then they'll fall when they're ready, and I can enjoy them when they fall and when they're ready, and I won't miss a thing. And there's nothing I need to do to make the fruit come or anything besides treat myself with grace and pour into myself. Boom, that's in which you'll be able to get the fruits of your labor. And that's what this feels like, catching this on the split right before I end the tarot. Again, it's like Ace of Pentacles. This is a divine opportunity for everything you want. But it comes through detachment, not a second sooner. But yeah, that's a beautiful last message to end on, man. Oh, man, I love y'all so much. And I love this, and I love my job, and I love this divine work that I get to do. Like, I truly see it that way. Like, it's a blessing. Like, I'm just as grateful for y'all and this opportunity to be able to express this energy and to navigate the energy and reflect it back as you all are to receive it. Understand that I feel very, very grateful, man. And I'm just as grateful for you all as you are to me. And yeah, I've committed my life to this work, this very work of, grounding in miracles, of being in the right place at the right time, to being a vessel of divine energy. Like, that's what I'm here to do. So at every turn I get to do that. And, those magical moments like that happen and things like that. Like, I'm beyond blessed because, it's the universe meeting me halfway. It's God meeting me halfway and allowing me to do exactly what I want to do and what I'm here to do, I feel that divine presence and all that working through me and being here every step of the way, always. It doesn't feel like I'm ever abandoned or like I'm just doing this on my own or anything like that. Like, I feel like I said, I feel like I'm a vessel of divine energy and divine grace, of miracles and all that. And then, as people continue to comment and say, oh man, like that was exactly what I need to hear and all that, it feels great because like that's what I'm here to do, be at the right place at the right time with the right message and just embody and just be God, because we all are God, especially at the point where we're showing up authentically and embodying it. Like, we can be used in that way, and like, what's the separation at that point, So yeah, that being said, thank y'all a lot, man. I can never express it enough. It's such an honor to be here and to sit in front of this tree and talk to y'all, man. But that being said, any closing messages before we get out of here? Anything we need to know?